We are very, very happy to have you here. In a nutshell, just to let you know that Arendt et Medanach is committed to the microfinance sector for now 20 years, I guess, this year. We are active in a number of initiatives in Luxembourg, like Infine, like the European Microfinance Platform, they are over there. A number of our team members are active in the microfinance sector. In particular, we have a specific team that is dedicated to structuring microfinance funds and more broad impact investment vehicle. And Aurélien Hollard, who is sitting right there, is co-leading that team with me. The topic of today is of great interest to us and especially to our team, because if we are advising a number of Luxembourg microfinance investment vehicles, I must say that only a very few of them are nowadays dedicated to support and to finance microinsurance. From that perspective, I think that I'm very keen to hear what stories you have to tell us, and take away some thinking around how our investment fund industry in Luxembourg could better support and finance that fast-growing and very important sector of the microinsurance. And Pierre-Michael, who is my partner from the insurance sector, I guess has the same interest to this panel.
Yes, thank you very much, Han. And indeed, I'm thrilled to host this event dedicated to microinsurance here. And I must say that I think that the timing is particularly well chosen. Probably you all know that Luxembourg has always been an insurance center, but more dedicated to life insurance and to reinsurance. And now with Brexit, we are now seeing a lot of non-life insurance companies coming here in Luxembourg in order to establish their European activity. And the insurance sector in Luxembourg is therefore gaining more and more importance, and it's becoming one of the most important insurance sectors in Europe. And with this growth, together also with the development of insurtech and fintech here in Luxembourg, Luxembourg is becoming a pole of attraction for insurance-related projects. And the microinsurance is not left aside in this development. And over the last months, we have been approached by a series of people who want to use Luxembourg and its reputation in order to launch new tools that will be able to assist microinsurance. So I'm looking forward to hearing this very interesting panel today. And I will leave the floor now to Matthew. Thank you very much for your presence today.
Thank you very much for the very warm welcome and this amazing room that you've given us. I'm happy that you didn't all end up in the Banque de Luxembourg, so that's very good that you're here. My name is Matthew Gensini. I head up the technical support unit for microfinance institutions in ADA. So we work with microfinance institutions on two levels. One is on capacity building, and the other one is on product diversification. And one of the products that we work on is microinsurance, hence why the topic of today. The objective of today is to give you some concrete examples of what is happening in microinsurance on the ground, and to discuss some of the issues that they face on the ground from the client's perspective. And for this, I'm joined by Jonathan from the Philippines and Shahzad from Pakistan. Now, I will let them introduce themselves because I'm sure they'll do it much better than I will. But before I do that, I would like you to describe microinsurance in 3 words.
That's a tall order, yeah. Matthew. Insurance for the poor, if I may put it that way.
Okay.
Well, safety net for the poor.
Safety net for the poor. Okay, that's 4, but I'll let you have that. Just to gauge the audience, who in the audience has worked on microinsurance, related to microinsurance? Could you please raise your hand? Okay. So we got an audience that probably knows what microinsurance is, but just briefly, what you saw in both of their descriptions is they both mention the target population. And this is where microinsurance differentiates from traditional insurance, is its target population. It is targeting low-income, underserved, maybe undereducated, vulnerable people. And it's because of this fact that it needs to be designed differently. I'm sure that all of us in this room have signed insurance policies where we've only understood 20% of the clauses in. That's if we bother read it all. Microinsurance needs to be much simpler. Some people describe it as it's insurance back to basics. It's actually insurance in its purest form, where it has the 4 fundamental elements. It has the premium that is paid. It has the premium that is paid. It has the risk that it covers. This risk can be anything, can be life, can be drought, can be accident. And then if that risk event occurs, it has the claim, which is then paid or not paid, and then the 4th element is the beneficiary. So these 4 elements, from a client's perspective, are the foundation of what insurance is. So now that we're all on the same page, I'm going to stop talking, and Jonathan, I'm going to turn to you first and ask you to introduce yourself, your institution, and maybe some specifics about the Filipino microinsurance market.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you very much to ADA and Infini for having us here. Well, I'm Jonathan Batangan. I'm with the Cebuana Luwilder Microinsurance, proud affiliate company of the PJLI Group of Companies, which is the operator of the biggest microfinancial institution in the Philippines. Cebuana Luwilder is into money remittance, e-load, collections, and it's also a pawn shop company. We have about 2,500 branches nationwide. Well, the Philippines has about 7,108 islands, but during high tide, it's 7,107. But we're almost in all of these islands, together with our partners as agents. We started microinsurance way back in 1999, even before microfinance was formalized in our country. I'm very proud to say that the Philippines now occupies somewhat a very prominent position in the microinsurance sector because we're one of the countries with high microinsurance penetration ratio, which at 32%, I believe is the highest in the world, which means out of 100 million Filipinos, 32 million Filipinos have already been able to be covered by microinsurance.
Why is that, quickly?
Secret. But anyway, the reason probably is a very good and forward-looking I would say insurance regulator. As early as 2006, our insurance regulator was able to formalize microinsurance schemes, and in 2010, I think we were one of the first countries to come up with a dedicated microinsurance national strategy, and it has been history since then. So right now, we now have about 32 million Filipinos covered by microinsurance.
That.
Yes, I'm Shahzad Iqbal, and I'm representing Kashf Foundation. It started in 1996 as a microfinance institution, primarily started to empower female, underprivileged females in the communities. We started with the microcredit products initially, and in 2004, we introduced the credit for life insurance, first time in Pakistan. And since then, we are working on different products. And in 2014, we started the micro insurance product. It's a micro health insurance product for the entire, which covers the entire family of our clients. We have about 1.5 million micro insurers, or the lives covered under our health insurance scheme. We have about 400,000 clients, microcredit clients, which are all covered for credit for life or for micro health insurance purposes. Pakistan is one of the, one of the largest countries in the world. It stands at number 5 in terms of population, with over 200 million people living there. It's in Pakistan, the penetration of insurance is not like in Philippines. It is just less than 1%. And in Pakistan, more than 70 million people are they don't have the opportunity to drink clean water. They are drinking unhygienic water, which results in a sickness or illness for the people. In Pakistan, 86 out of 1,000 people died during the childbirth process. So to address these issues, we work with the private sector. We came up with a micro health insurance product, and we are now covering almost 1.5 million lives.
So what we have here is interesting. We've got two very different types of organizations. We've got a microfinance institution, and we've got a distribution agent. Both of these, although they're very different organizations, the main parallel between them is that they're both distribution channels for insurance products, meaning that there's an insurance company behind that takes the risk, and they are, in fact, just distributing, selling the product. And this is a model that functions, that is found everywhere throughout the world, and is one of the main models that is most popular. Now, I'd like to go down into the basics, and I'd quite like to ask you to present one of your insurance products, describing a little bit the characteristics and maybe some innovations that you've integrated into the design of the product.
Yeah. For Cebuana Luwilier, our premier product is basically personal accident insurance. We sold this as early as to sell this as early as 2004. And since then, it has reached 15 million policies. So last year, we were able to register 15 million policies, or approximately 1.2, 1.3 million policies per month. Basically, it's personal accident. The premium is $3 for 1 year, a coverage of $400 for accidental death and dismemberment, $100 for fire cash assistance, and another $100 for microlife. So basically, you'll have about $600, $700 coverage for a measly premium of $3 per year. Loss ratio has been very good. Our insurers are very happy for covering approximately about 10 million Filipinos to date. So this product is, I would say, the most saleable product in the Philippines because it has already enlisted more than 10 million Filipinos, or 10% of the entire population of the Philippines is covered by this product.
And so, from a client's perspective, if I'm a client, how do I buy the product? What's the process? What sort of interactions do I have with this product? And maybe talk about the claims as well. Yeah,
this is actually just very easy for an ordinary Filipino to purchase this microinsurance product. We are dispersed nationwide. I mentioned earlier that we are about 2,500 branches nationwide. So a client can just come in, purchase the insurance with, he can just fill out a half bond paper that will ask his name, address, and even an age, and that's it. So in just 2 minutes, he's just covered, and as soon as he steps out of our branch, he's actually covered. Of course, there's an arrangement with the insurance company that for this number, we need to consolidate 1 million per month and relay this to the insurance company for them to be able to at least commence the insurance program. But our commitment is as soon as the client steps out of the branch, whether or not we declare that to the insurance company, that client must be insured right away. So that's our commitment. And on the claim side, we're very glad to level up the claims process in the Philippines. We are very proud. I don't know if Paulina can just show some of the photos. We're very proud to settle claims within 24 hours. Part of the coverage is fire cash assistance. Imagine if one community is under conflagration in the wee hours of the morning, let's say 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning, we actually go there and settle the claims right away. So before you, some of the photos that this is one of the communities in the Philippines where 2,000 families were affected or were victims of fire, and they were actually evacuated and brought in one place. And Cebuana Luwilier was there at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was there with a megaphone telling all the victims of fire if they have the Cebuana Luwilier certificate of insurance. And right there and there, we settled claims. I guess with this, we increase the value of insurance. We actually even promote and make insurance more tangible, because when you're there at the very lowest period of our insureds or our claimants, they would feel that there's really truth and there's really integrity in the product itself. We make it a point that we settle claims within 24 hours to build more trust, because when clients see us that in their lowliest period of life, that all their properties are burned, we are there proactively settling the claims. So we're not running away from claims. We are running after the claims.
Yeah.
Which, for an insurer is really the opposite of what they tend to try and do. Shahzad, could you describe
Yes, our premier product is the micro health insurance. It covers the entire family. There are two plans that we offer to the clients. One is for the age, for the female clients, which are over the age of 45 years, and one is for the females which are under the age of 45 years. The people who are under the 45 years of age, they are covered for the maternity benefit as well. The premium is very low. I mean, it covers the entire family, and for the entire family, the premium is $16 with the maternity benefit and $10 without maternity benefit. So this covers the entire family, and each family member has a coverage of up to $260 per annum. So, I mean, and there is no limit, I mean, or cap on the number of family members. Plus, we also offer the payouts as well. I mean, payout means loss of wages. If the main breadwinner or the female client spend the night in the hospital, we pay them $3 per night multiply with the number of nights they spend at the hospital. I mean, we have a very good system for, I mean, to attract our clients for this product. The claim process is also very simple. I mean, 50% of the clients mostly use the panel hospitals, where they don't need to make any kind of payment. They just need to go there and show the card that we gave them at the time of the loan disbursement. They just need to show that card and get the medical facility, whatever is required to them. And rest of the people, if they want to choose to any other hospital, they can go there and send us the claim documents. And we have a time of 30 days. I mean, we settle the claims within 30 days of time. Our claim ratio is about 80%, and most of the people are happy to buy every year that product from us.
So you allow the clients to go to hospitals that you don't have partnerships with, and if they go to hospitals where you do, it's a cashless process.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any additional innovations that you've implemented in your organization?
Well, one thing, I mean, what we did, we integrated our system with the insurance companies. Okay. Usually, even in Pakistan, the card that we get is usually about 25-30 days after the insurance sign up. But in our case, the client received the card immediately at the time of disbursement from the branch. It is because of the integration of the two systems. Plus, we bundled it with our product, which in insurance, the distribution is the most expensive thing. I mean, and by bundling it, we actually reduced the overall cost of distribution for the micro health insurance. Plus, we, like I said earlier, that we added a loss of wages component, which covers the loss of the wages of the clients, and they can buy medicines, or they can buy food out of those money that we give to them. Plus, we also link the medical stores and laboratories where they can get discounts as well. So this is how we have bundled it for our clients.
So there's additional services that is added on top of the insurance. Jonathan, I know you're desperate to talk about one thing. Go on, I'll let you do it.
InsurTech and FinTech were mentioned earlier. We have invested in coming up with the first microinsurance dedicated app in the Philippines, where our products and services could easily be downloaded. The second phase for this app, it's called Micro Pinoy app. I don't know if you have iOS or Android, you can actually download this app right now. You can see all our products and services. The second phase for this app is to make it a facility for enrollment, so they can actually just choose any product and then they can enlist whatever coverage they would want. The second one is we also developed a Cebuana Alerto, which is an app for disasters. It has an I am safe button that gives news to the keen of our insured so they are safe in the event of any calamity. As you're well aware of, the Philippines lies in the in the riskiest location in the world. We're in the ring of fires and the belt of typhoons. And very recently, well, that was 3-4 years ago, the strongest typhoon that ever landed on record was in the Philippines. And that was Typhoon Haiyan, killing something like 4,000, 5,000 people. So we developed this Cebuana Alerto app so that they can alert their loved ones that they are in a safe condition, safe place in the event of a major calamity. Last week, we actually set up a crowdfunding website for microinsurance, and it's called ourhelp.com. And this gives me an opportunity to advertise this to the audience. Please download the website, and please access the URL. It's ourhelp.com. It's a microinsurance. I think it's the first of its kind in the world. We have a donee belonging to the marginalized sector, and if you can donate just $1, you can provide 1 year coverage to this person. So we have uploaded 200 of them. We've partnered with several organizations in the Philippines, the elderly, the out-of-school youth, persons with disability, and we've selected from them several of their constituents, and then we put them as donees. These are the most vulnerable sectors in the Philippines, and we would like to introduce the concept of nano insurance, not just microinsurance, but nano insurance as free insurance, because we would want to donate $1 to these individuals. So please don't forget, download the URL, and I would like to appeal if you can donate $1, please do so.
Is this the equivalent of Kiva for microinsurance?
I would say, yeah, it's something like that. But in this case, it's donating microinsurance to these groups of people.
So do I choose who I insure?
Precisely, and anybody who would like, who you choose to cover, will receive an SMS right away. And this person will receive an SMS from a telco that says, "You're covered." Somebody from Luxembourg actually donated their $1 premium.
And what risks are you covering?
This is personal. This is the premium product that we have. The $1 performance, or $3 for 1 year, personal accident or non-life insurance, life insurance, and even fire cash assistance. So it's very comprehensive for a measly $1.
And the regulator is fine with all this?
Definitely, yes. Yeah. We have e-commerce law for microinsurance, and he's very, I mentioned earlier, he's very supportive of these trusts. And one of the reasons why the Philippines is forward-looking and very aggressive on microinsurance, because we have a very prudent regulator who really supports microinsurance initiatives.
Okay. The next kind of aspect that I'd like to talk about is one fundamental difference between the two initial products that we talked about. You have one in the Philippines, which is a voluntary standalone product, which is sold by itself. Someone goes into a shop, buys to buy that insurance product. While Shahzad's example is a product that is mandatory, so it's bundled with another financial service that is sold. So in the case of Kashf Foundation, it's sold with a loan. Now, there's always been a lot of debate in microinsurance about what's better, what's worse. But I'd like to put it to you. Maybe start with you, Shahzad. What are the benefits of selling insurance as a bundled product?
Well, when we bundle it, we are actually utilizing the distribution network that we have. It reduces the cost to for the clients. It helps us in maintaining our own sustainability as well, and it is also helpful for the insurer. I mean, we do most of the work for the insurance company. We choose the client. We try to exclude those clients we try to avoid the negative selection or the fraudulent activities, we verify the claims because we have a network of branches across Pakistan. We have over 3,000 employees in 290 branches. So this network and this distribution people helps us in maintaining the cost at a very low level. Otherwise, the kind of micro health insurance that we are offering to the clients would have been very expensive. It is not at the price that we are offering to our clients.
So you actually have a captive market, and another benefit is you will not suffer against adverse selection.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain a little bit what adverse selection is and what?
Well, I mean, adverse selection is, for example, if I have any kind of sickness, I will only buy that product to cater to that particular sickness. When we are giving to the entire community or the entire clients, it positively avoid that. I mean, there may be people who have pre-existing conditions. Mm-hmm. Those, I mean, we covered that pre-existing condition, but we avoid the negative selection. I mean, we will not be insuring only those people who have the sickness.
So it avoids that. Yeah, avoids that only the old and the sick buy your insurance company, your insurance product.
Yeah.
Jonathan. Voluntary. What are the advantages and the disadvantages of this?
This has been model. Our strategy for the past 16 years. Basically, it gives the client more options. They can choose what type of products they would want that is customized to their requirements. Cebuana Lawyer has a basket of products called care products. So name a sector. We have a product for them. Employee care, student care, taxi operator care, etc. We don't only have I don't care. But we have about 20 products under this care basket. And they were made in such a way, tailor-fitted and customized to the specific requirements of these particular sectors. So they can choose what type of products they would want to opt in.
So you're giving additional value to... And so how do you avoid adverse selection, for example?
We made it in such a way with the insurer that the premium is affordable and considerate also of any probable risks, including adverse selection. The mere fact that we have 2,500 branches nationwide, and we require our employees to cross-sell this regardless of whatever products that we have in the branches, be it remittance, e-load, collections, bills payment. And since we have the traction, somehow this cushions the impact of the risks. So much so that, yes, for the past 14 years, our loss ratio has been very, very manageable. I don't want to say that. Yes, very, very manageable.
We'll come to that in a second. What about scale? I mean, you've managed to reach scale because it's been a mandatory product and you've had your captive market. You, Jonathan, you managed to reach scale in a voluntary way, which is actually very unique and rare in the insurance, especially in the microinsurance industry. So, how have you promoted the product?
We are doing it rather creatively because I believe that microinsurance is non-conventional insurance, and therefore it has to be promoted rather non-conventionally as well. So we've purchased vans, about 8 of them, and we deployed them nationwide to the far rural areas. We have vans, and we call them microinsurance on wheels. We have launched a campaign. I don't know if you believe me on this, but it's very counterintuitive. The nationwide search for the happiest Filipino, because we equate microinsurance with happiness. So when you have microinsurance, we believe that you have the attributes of happiness, peace of mind, freedom from stress, worry, and fear, and therefore this campaign has been ongoing for the past 10 years. And since we launched it 10 years ago, it has won major marketing awards, not only in the Philippines, but in Asia as well. So you might be wondering, why the nationwide search for the happiest Filipino? But last year, when we relaunched it for the third time, we were able to generate 300,000 nominations. This year, we look forward to reaching out to 500,000 nominations.
Were you nominated?
Because I am the organizer, I was exempted. But of course, we're increasing the scope, including the sectors. We will have the happiest student, the happiest employee, happiest worker. Even the LGBT community is also part of the nationwide search. So it's more inclusive, and it's a very intuitive, innovative way of promoting microinsurance. And the happiest Filipino gets, take note, 1 million pesos. That's equivalent to about 20,000 US dollars.
Bad. That's
so you have to be happy first before you get money from us.
Shahzad, one of the criticisms of mandatory products is that sometimes the client is unaware that he has this insurance. So how do you come over that, and how do you make sure that the clients that buy the loans know that they have this health insurance behind it?
So, I mean, step one, when our BDO, Business Development Officer, interact with our client, it's his job to give the awareness about the products that the client is purchasing from us. And after that, at the time of disbursement, the branch manager are supposed to give the full details of the product that the clients are purchasing. We also do different activities in the communities, like street theater, where we have different kind of themes, which also include the health insurance component as well. And I mean, this is a gathering of about 200, 300 people sitting under one roof, and we have performers who perform live in front of the people. So, and this is also one of the way that we deliver our message to our clients about the products, and we also train our clients on different financial literacy components. So that training component also have savings, budgeting, insurance, how to manage your debts. So this is also one of the component through which we communicate with the clients and give the awareness. Plus, we have a compliance department who randomly visits the clients and ask about different questions to them to ensure that the message has been given to the client.
So we're talking a lot about additional services that go above just insuring someone on the product. We just spent, with some of you in the crowd as well, 2 days at the Microinsurance Network member meeting. And one of the topics that we were discussing is the value that products offer to their clients. And how do we measure this value? And one of the proxy indicators that we use to measure value is called the claims ratio. Or the loss ratio, if you prefer. I don't want to get too technical, but just to quickly explain, the claims ratio is the amount of premium that is returned to the clients in claims. So if I, as an insurer, receive €100 in premium from all of you guys, and I pay out €40 in claims, I have a claims ratio of 40%. So you would think that the higher the claims ratio is, the more value I'm offering to my client. However, if it's too high, that means that my product isn't sustainable. So then, there's a balance that I need to do for that. The other percent, the 60% that remains with me, needs to be paid in commissions, in distribution costs, in profit, and all the rest. Additional services like the ones we discussed. Shahzad, I'm going to come to you first. I know that when you launched your product, you had a claims ratio of 155%. So that means you're making a significant loss on your product. But you managed to reduce that now to 80%, which is offering an incredible value to their clients. But how can you guarantee that you will have sustainability and that next year this product will still be offered?
Yeah, that 155% was during the pilot phase that we did, and thanks to our insurance company, who understand that the first few years of the product may have a higher claim ratio, and I will also talk about the reason. We are primarily working with the females. Females are our clients, and what we have learned during that period, that most of the females were not spending money on their health issues. If they get a chance to spend money, they spend on their husbands or male counterparts or on their children. So when they get the insurance from us, the first thing that we observe that they spend that money on themselves. So they get a chance to go to the hospital to get their chronic illness treated. So that is why it was higher in the beginning of the launch of the insurance product. Gradually, as we were achieving the scale of economies, that played a lot of role. Plus, we also learned that how can we reduce or make more efficient system. Initially, in the beginning, we were distributing cards. We were getting the cards from the insurance company at our head office. We distribute those cards to our branches, and then those cards were distributed to the clients. So now it is integrated system. Now the client gets the insurance immediately at the branch level at the time of disbursement. So these are different initiatives that we took at different times, which helped us to bring that claim ratio down. And we are quite hopeful with in future, as we are progressing, the claim ratio will not grow higher, and the product will remain sustainable. And we are very conscious about that. We continuously observe which parts of our network have a low claim ratio, which parts of the network have a high claim ratio, and we continuously study and find the reasons and justification for the low and the high claim ratio.
Jonathan, Kate actually asked me to put him on the spot, and I'm going to put you on the spot with your claims ratio. I'm not allowed to say what his claims ratio is. He specifically told me just before not to say it.
Very, very manageable. But insurers love us for their claims ratio.
But it's lower than the 80%. Let's say it's under.
It's below 40%.
It's below 40%. We'll leave it at that. So, if you do have a low claims ratio, how can you guarantee value to your clients?
I mentioned several initiatives of Cebuana Luwilier. We're settling claims proactively. There's also this tele-doctor facility that every time you buy the $3 insurance product from us, you can call a doctor for free. And this facility has been ongoing for the past 5 years. When you visit a doctor in the Philippines, they charge you $8. But for a measly premium of $3, you can call this doctor unlimited, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So that's one. We have that facility. We also have several initiatives like promoting microinsurance in the most rural of all the areas. Like we purchased microinsurance on wheels as vans. We also mobilized our 7,000 employees to really go out of their own way and immerse and promote financial literacy in all the local government units of the Philippines. And hence, this is the very reason probably that we are generating this traction, aside from the fact that we have 2,500 branches nationwide. We have developed apps. We have made the customer experience seamless. We settle claims within 24 hours. We settle claims, even denied claims. So for the purpose of bringing back or giving back to the customers who have paid their premiums with us in the event of any claim that is not within the coverage, we make it a point that if we do not give the appropriate amount for that particular denied claims, at least a percentage, 20, 30, 40, 50%, the supposed to be amount that they should get, we give it back to them. So yes, loss ratio has been very, very good for the past 15 years. And as mentioned earlier, our insurers love us for the loss ratio. Perhaps the reason is the traction, the dispersion of Cebuana Luwilier, and the thrust of all the employees to sell this to almost all of our customers, whether they're into collections, money remittance, and whatnot. And I'm proud to say that 70% of our customers who go to our branches are purchasing insurance.
I mean, this is a great example of how the claims ratio is just a proxy for value. It really doesn't, there's so much more behind the story of a low claims ratio. Right. So I'm going to stop asking questions and maybe hand it to the floor. Have we got mics Do we have any questions? What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask one question at a time, because we've been in a conference for 2 days, and they've got the memory of a goldfish, and so there's just one question, one answer, one question, one answer. And if when you ask a question, please state your name, your organisation, and who you're directing your question to. Questions?
My name is Vichen, and
There's a mic.
My name is Vichen, and I am CTO of Bitbank. My question is very technical. What is and for both of you, what is the coverage of internet access in Philippines and in Pakistan?
In the Philippines, I think it's about 60 to 70%. Yes, quite high.
Dispersed.
Yeah. But of course, higher in the rural areas.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Francisco Paulo Coelho from the EIB Institute. My question addresses any of the three panelists indistinctively. In the beginning of your presentation, you said that microinsurance is very much returned back to the basics of insurance and to make it simple. And there's certainly a feeling among the men on the street, at least in Europe, that insurance policies and contracts become awfully complicated. The EIB Institute is involved in a series of pilot financial literacy programs in Europe. And I think you mentioned that along with microinsurance, you have also some initiatives on financial literacy or insurance literacy. How successful have those been in the case of the Philippines or possibly in the case of Pakistan? What can be done in order to improve the men on the street awareness and to make it easier for them to understand microinsurance concepts and contracts? Thank you very much.
Can I answer that question? I guess you can attribute the success of financial literacy by the amount or by the microinsurance penetration ratio that you have. Like in the Philippines, it's now 32%. Social media plays a very, very crucial role. In our strategy, we make it a point that Facebook, Twitter, even what we call as consumer protection should be considered. We have facilities for complaints, for adverse selling, or for forced selling. In our experience for promoting financial literacy, it really has to be as basic as possible, because for microinsurance, you're talking of the lowliest of the poor. They need simple, they need accessible products, and they need also affordable products. So these have to be contextualized in such a way that they can easily understood, and that product is available, and that product can be accessible right away. So much so that when you increase their awareness, there's already a product that they can purchase. Right.
Yes, I fully agree. I mean, the product should be very simple. In the case of health insurance, for example, there should not be any exclusions, or all the pre-existing conditions should be covered, so that when you are going to sell in the market, or you are going to communicate with the customer, it should say simply, all of your sickness, illness are covered through the health insurance. So it should be as simple as that.
If I may add to the Shahzad, maybe even the enrollment process, we make it a point that we only need 3 requirements: name, age, address. So in 3 minutes, they can get and purchase the insurance requirement. As soon as they leave the branch, they're already covered. So simple, easy, affordable, accessible. These are some of the attributes that make microinsurance tick.
Hello, my name is Michelle Dold. I work in technical support for Incofin Investment Management, which is based in Belgium. My question is for both of you. Do either of your organizations offer any sort of climate risk insurance? And for this type of product that may not seem as immediately necessary as, say, life insurance, health, or accident insurance, and perhaps, you know, a climate event may only happen every few years. How can you convince clients of the necessity of a product like this, especially when we see more and more that climate events can have disastrous effects, especially for vulnerable populations?
Well, no, we are not offering any such product right now. Kashf Foundation is primarily working in the urban or peri-urban areas, and we are in those areas where there is very unlikely to have any such kind of climate issue.
In the Philippines, after Typhoon Haiyan, microinsurance awareness was heightened because it was one of the more successful cases of microinsurance, perhaps in the world, because microinsurance responded to about 111,000 Filipinos, which means claims settled involving 500 million pesos claims. I think that's 10 million US dollars settled. So after that, and with the Filipinos learning about the effectiveness of microinsurance, there has been a clamor for it. But the challenge there is, once this particular typhoon happened, insurers retracted their product because they had the adverse losses. So now our challenge is really to persuade our insurance companies to come up with catastrophic covers viable at that, so much so that, you know, we can address this gap in the Philippines. And as mentioned earlier, the Philippines is in a very vulnerable position, belt of typhoons, ring of fire, and this is now the product that we would want to develop with our local insurers. Maybe foreign reinsurers would like to approach the Philippine market, so much so that we can be able to come up with viable, sustainable, natural catastrophic covers for the Filipinos. We're looking at first on the agri side because Philippines is basically a predominantly agricultural country. Unfortunately, 4% of only the farmers are covered by agri-insurance, and this is covered still by a state-owned agency, which is Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation. Maybe it's high time that we can seek support from Luxembourg and other European countries to look at the potential of these in the ASEAN region, particularly in the Philippines, which is very vulnerable.
Maybe just to jump in, do you think it's the role of the insurance companies to cover for such risks, climate change risks, or do you think there's a role for governments to come in?
Actually, it's both. I would say that the government should initiate this, maybe initiate a discussion and come up with appropriate regulation as well. I believe that we have provisions for NatCat. It's just the case that we don't have local insurers to really come up with a viable product for this. The Philippines has come up with regulatory frameworks for micro-agri, micro-pre-need, micro-health, and whatnot. But some of these products are not yet in the market because of no insurer would want to underwrite these products. But I believe that there is a huge potential market for this. It's just that perhaps it's not communicated well to maybe foreign reinsurers. And the mere fact that with the success of Cebuana Luwilira as a distribution channel with 2,500, we can attest that we can push this product to the grassroots. So maybe that's a promise that we can make to foreign reinsurers.
Are there any other questions? Got a second question.
So it's me again. You just brush over interesting questions about the identity of your customers, the 3 points. What do you think, or how do you do KYC, AMS, CFT, GDPR, etc. in your country?
Unfortunately, this is really required even in microinsurance. We balance off these requirements with seamless and easy enrollment. And yes, we have to accede to the requirement that we need to come up with all the requirements for AMLA and whatnot. But for every purchase of certificate, we ask from them to sign the requirement for data protection, data sharing, and also the AMLA requirement but this is an ongoing process. We're actually sitting down with the regulation to please help us also simplify the enrollment process. And as mentioned, we only require 3 fields to be written down in the enrollment form. Surprisingly, the Insurance Commission has supported us with these requirements. But again, AMLA, which is actually requires 12 more or less fields, we have to accede to that requirement. So yes, we do the AMLA and as well as the Data Sharing, Data Privacy Act, and we have to strictly observe on that as well.
Take one more question. So I saw a hand somewhere. Oh. Please.
Or we can maybe make it
all right, 2 more questions. One at a time, though.
Okay. I'm Peter, working for Foyer, which is a Luxembourg insurance company. I have the impression that we can learn from microinsurance, simplicity of products. Also, we're on this digitalization process, enrollment, etc. And we are also very jealous of your loss ratio, by the way. But, my question is, how can we, traditional insurers, learn from microinsurance? Thank you.
Shahzad, would you like to share? Start.
Well, one way of that is that we can communicate with each other. We can share the learnings with you, or we can also arrange a visit to our places where you can come on ground and see what we are doing. And we can also arrange your meetings with the insurance companies that we are working with, and you can get the insights from them as well, that how they are covering the risk.
Cebuano Nuwili has been a hotbed of microinsurance. Every time a certain country would like to learn about microinsurance, our regulator showcases Cebuano Nuwili. So we've been accommodating several countries, particularly African countries, even European countries have visited the Philippines and have learned a lot from the Cebuano Nuwili experience. Definitely, our doors are open, except the loss ratio we cannot disclose. But of course, our strategies, our procedures, our processes are actually very open. You can download all the information from the website, from a Facebook. We're very, very transparent, except loss ratio again. We always believe that there are 3 A's in microinsurance, and perhaps this is a lesson that we can impart to the audience: accessibility, affordability, and appropriateness. And when I say appropriateness, this is the relevance of the product to an intended sector or market.
Maybe I've got one suggestion. Maybe the Foyer could join the microinsurance network.
Yes, I certainly agree. There's a lot of benefit to be part of the microinsurance network. We are part of the microinsurance network.
Was there one more question? Yeah.
Sad Major from ADA. I've got 2 questions actually. The first one is, do you have an idea on the proportion of the microfinance clients, so the ones that has got microcredits from microfinance institutions that are also insured in your respective countries? And my second question would be the other way around. Do you've got some clients that do have a microinsurance but don't have any microcredits with microfinance institutions? And then how do you reach these clients?
Well, in our context, most of the companies are offering different microinsurance products to the clients. One product that everyone is offering is the credit for life insurance. So that is approximately given to every microcredit client. Well, I don't think that in Pakistan we are offering only micro insurance. As a separate product to the clients. This is yet to be seen. This is something that we will do. We have a plan to come up with a voluntary product, but it is planned for the future.
Same story as Shahzad's in Pakistan. In the Philippines, we bundle micro-lending with credit life. Cebuano Nuwili is initiating the formation of Microinsurance Agents Association. So we involved here micro-lending organizations, rural thrift banks, so that they become more aware of the existence of microinsurance products like credit life, so they can actually cross-sell, bundle this to their micro-lending products.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions. I'd like to invite Kate McGee, for the closing remarks. So Kate, formerly of CGAP, works now for the Partnership for Economic Inclusion. And Kate is also a board member of the Microinsurance Network.
Thank you so much. Wow, that was really inspiring, very exciting. It makes me think, Jonathan, of many years ago at the beginning of my career, I was out and had spent, a couple hours with a Filipino microfinance customer. And at the end, she just looked at me and she said, when you're poor, life is one big risk. And I think we need to kind of step back and think about the role of risk management, which is really where the microinsurance network sees the central challenge, risk management for poor people, and where formal insurance products can be a really important part of the solution. But I think we've heard today, we've given you a taste of what some of those innovations are that are needed to really address this central challenge and turn people into happier people because they're not so overwhelmed by the risks. So I have just 5 takeaways that I hope are relevant for the audience that struck me, and kind of thinking also about the role of Luxembourg in the financial world and in the investment world. So the first point that came through very clearly is this the role of bundled services, and to be also quite clear that it's not only bundling financial services, but the importance, for example, in the health sector of a teledoctor, the kinds of additional services you provide that together provide the customer value proposition. And the sort of blurring of lines between the products also is something we observe across the world in the microinsurance space, where it is multiple financial services. The savings part hasn't come out quite so much, but is really very critical to this whole risk management dilemma. And I thought the point that came out that as a result of the bundling and the sort of multiple value propositions coming together, that traditional proxies, as you said, like a claims ratio, doesn't really capture it, because there's a lot of, in a way, cross-subsidy that's happening between those different pieces. Second point is how important it is to have innovative business models. And that for example, the partnerships to deliver, particularly the distributions challenge, is key, figuring out how to solve that. The first microinsurance app, the street theater, the business development officers, the frontline sales staff, that the distribution being bundled then with the marketing and the awareness raising, more so than a kind of a formal financial education, is really an important innovation that we see. And also the role that digital will play. And I think this kind of mix between, you need to have the low touch to drive down the cost, to be able to afford, to be able to make money on a $10 a month, a $10 a year insurance policy, or $3 a year insurance policy. You've got to have the digital. But the high touch part is so central, because inherently insurance is a trust product, which I'm sure you all know. I thought a third message that came through clearly that's very relevant to Luxembourg, given what a leading role you all have played for years on responsible microfinance, responsible finance in general, and responsible investment, is how central that job is. And that what we're talking about here is not necessarily something that's driven by regulatory approaches or even disciplining by investors, although those are important. But it's actually the simplicity of the product, the inherent value proposition. What is the deal for the customer? I've seen insurance policies that are handed out on a business card. And we've heard about the really important steps to make sure that claims are paid on a timely basis, which is probably as important as the overall sort of value for money in the customer's calculation of how this is work. on-the-spot claim settlement. So we really need to be thinking about what does responsible insurance look like, and it is about the simplicity and the transparency and the fair treatment, and then actually the appropriateness of the product and the delivery channel. Fourth, just a thought on the role of financial innovation and investment. I mean, I think Jonathan had a challenge to all of you to really think about the upstream investors, whether it's impact investors, social impact, or development impact bonds that could be in this area, the reinsurance question. So there's much that can be done to make the right kind of capital available to support this. And I think that would be, a wonderful topic for the, what is it called? Infine to take on and think about. And then finally, thank you very much for your question and for your infomercial and for my opportunity to say the Microinsurance Network exists to support exactly this kind of multi-stakeholder consultation and the exchange between really interesting cutting-edge practices in one part of the world and another. And so we're just really pleased that you've turned out today. And thank you very much. And let's give another thanks to our superb panelists.
Thank you, Kate. Just before I let you go and have your lunch and drinks, I'd like to say special thanks to Anne and Pierre-Michel for this amazing room that they've let us use. Thank you, Kate, for the remarks. Thank you to the Directorate for Development Cooperation and Human Affairs, the Luxembourg government, Infine, the Microinsurance Network, all of you, people who are online apparently, and to my distinguished guests. So thank you very much. Enjoy your lunch.